we are racing up one of the steepest climbs in NorCal.
Oh my God.
Can't talk. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today with me is teammate Jackson.
I'm the climber.
And I'm the sprinter. Today we are racing up one of the steepest climbs in NorCal, but there's a twist. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about the segment really fast because it is insane. This is Christmas Tree Hill in Larkspur, California. It's only 1.14 miles, but you're climbing 800 feet in just over a mile. Average grade is 13.3%. So you might be thinking, look, Jeff, it's not that steep of a climb, 13.3%. But the first half of it is like 5%. And then the second half is a sustained 18 to 20% with ramps that are upwards of 40%. That's right, over 40% in some sections. So absolutely leg breaking. Truly one of the hardest climbs here in NorCal. All right, so we talked about the segment. Now let's talk about what we have to bring up that segment. Jackson, you want to start and talk about this beautiful red and black Eurobike?
Well, I've got the Eurobike. It weighs in at a light 36 pounds, but really its big advantage for the climb is the 3x drivetrain. My gearing is my advantage here. I've got a granny gear. I can bail out. Jeff, what do you got?
I do not have a granny gear. I have a 39 by 28. Yeah, 39 by 28. Jackson built this bike. Thank you, Jackson. This is the team bike. You guys have seen this on the channel quite a bit. Giant TCR. It is not particularly light for a race bike, but it's not 36 pounds. So I'm gonna have a big advantage there. I'm gonna be grinding because, as we mentioned, there are some incredibly steep ramps out there. So I'm gonna need all the help I can get because Jackson's a good climber. Wish us luck. All right, we're about ready to go. Here are the rules though. This isn't a time trial. This is a mass start. Two of us are starting.
I got mass.
No, but we're racing together up the hill, so it's going to be a little interesting. There's going to be some cat and mouse. I'm not going to tell him my strategy. I got a strategy. I'm big braining this year.
I got a tactic, yeah.
All right, well, shall we? Count us down, EJ.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
But first, real quick, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, and that is Bombas. Bombas sells the most comfortable socks. And also they give back. They have this amazing one purchased, one donated policy that gives back to those in need. Because it turns out that socks are the most requested items in homeless shelters. So great company all around. They've already donated over 75 million items. And look, this happens in the background. You make the purchase, Bombas gets to work and brings them to the people in need. And I should mention, they sent me a few pair of their cycling performance socks. I've been wearing them. I rode them on this ride. They're manufactured with special materials in a special process to maximize airflow ventilation, keep your feet dry and comfortable, even if you're doing a long ride. So check out the link down in the description if you want to support a great company. And with that said, back to the race. All right, Jackson, reviewing race footage now, and tell me, what was your strategy?
Well, I thought there were two different possible strategies that I could go with. I could go with a more conservative approach, which was conserving energy on the flatter, more 5% stuff, and then just trying to meter my effort on the steeper pitches, use the triple to my advantage, and then try to kick at the finish. Or I could go all out and try to drop you at the bottom or just completely demoralize you at the bottom. And you know, as Jai Hindley said in the Giro, we're not here to put socks on caterpillars, so I went on the aggressive strategy.
And you were avoiding cars in the meantime. That was I just remembered about that close call we had towards the bottom. But look at the power here. I mean, yeah, like you were really trying to get rid of me, and I was stubbornly not willing to get dropped because I did not want you to come in with a gap when we get into the steep stuff. Don't forget, guys, the bottom of this is like, it's still steep, right? It's still like 6-7%. You can see the bottom right, 5% here. But as the road goes on, as we get to the second half of the segment, we're going to kick up into like the 30%. And I think that's where the Eurobike is really going to bog you down.
I was trying to get in your head at this point, though. I wanted you to think that I had a lot more in the tank than I did, and then I thought I could meter myself from not blowing up using the triple when you'd be limited with a 39.28 or whatever you had.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see in a little bit. I was absolutely grinding. But down here, I felt as comfortable as one can feel, averaging something close to 400. But it's not like I wasn't you in this situation. I was doing something close to 400. I finally see the front for like a half a second right here. And then you immediately come around.
You took the sharp inside line and surged up to 500 watts for a few seconds, and I kept it a little steadier on the outside.
Well, I'm a fast twitch crit boy. What do you expect? So, okay, so here we have your power overlay. I've plopped this on there. And this proves the point I was just making, which is like even on the lower slopes here, which aren't very steep, look at the power difference. I mean, you're in the 300s, I'm in the 200s right now. And that's only going to get exaggerated as the road kicks up. So you're doing a full like 50 to 100 watts more on the Euro bike, but you have a sick kickstand, so I guess it's not a total loss.
Yeah, that's only good when you're stopped though, and I wasn't trying to stop.
Yes. How you feeling? Oh, bullshit. Did you remember this conversation?
Oh yeah, I asked you how you were feeling, trying to get in your head a little bit, see if this was unsustainable for you. And
oh, it was unsustainable for me, all right. I think I even told you that it was unsustainable. But the way you said it to me was so casual, like oh, this is no big deal. Like we're gonna carry this to the top.
That was the plan.
And like I knew that I couldn't carry this effort to the top, especially as it gets really steep and I just don't have the gearing for it. Because remember that that's the setback on my equipment. Like I have a much lighter bike. But you have the gears. I mean, the lighter bike is obviously the advantage in this situation overall. But I was really starting to suck wind right here, and then all of a sudden, what happened?
Well, we turned that corner. It pitched up to over 20%. I wanted to use that triple. I smacked that thumb shifter on the tops of the handlebar, and I dropped the chain.
Believe it or not, Eurobike does not have the most crisp shifting in the world.
No, they don't have a Di2 model yet.
It's in production, not quite yet. Sick thumb shifters, but what is that? That is like a good 10 or 15 seconds, which is pretty consequential on a 10-minute segment. So back on the power you go, and this ramp right here kind of defines the rest of this segment.
Oh, but Jeff, look at that cadence difference. You're in the 40s. I was in the 80s.
And I remained in the 40s, even as low as 30, if we fast forward a little bit, as I was just standing. I stood for 9 out of 10 minutes of this segment. So as we fast forward through this segment, I mean, you can see how steep some of these ramps get and how low both my power and my cadence get. I mean, your strategy to crush and demoralize me worked in the sense that I did not have the power to sustain that 400+ watt effort all the way to the top. But the question is, could I hold the gap that your drop chain allowed me? And that brings us to 290 meters to go. I'm at a 30% ramp. I'm all the way down to 40 RPM, doing close to 400 watts. And guess who's clawed their way back up to my rear wheel? Jackson, how you feeling in this moment?
Well, that took just about everything. In this pitch, it says 17%. It felt steeper.
Oh, yeah, it was close to 30. The GPS gets a little wacky, but you had to take a quick break.
I totally blew. It took everything I had to get back to you.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I kept peeking back. I was like, okay, I got like 15, 20 seconds on him. And I was holding it. And then I looked back, and all of a sudden you were right there. I was like, holy crap. So you getting back onto my wheel was threatening for like 1 second until I realized, oh, he immediately blew up. So I just stayed on what I knew I could hold to the finish, which was, barely even 300 watts at this point.
39 RPM.
39 RPM, yeah, because my upper body and then just that low RPM, my lower back, everything was tweaked after this effort. But it was enough to get the job done, and we have EJ at the top giving us encouragement here. I barely made it. I mean, look, you're only like 50, maybe 100 meters behind me, but that represents like 30 seconds, right?
Oh,
yeah, which is about the time of the drop chain.
Yeah, I mean, the weight of the bike definitely held you back, but it really came down to the drop chain. And look at your cadence. I mean, it seems like you still have a bunch of energy left over.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I didn't feel like I had a lot of energy left over. I gave it everything.
Yeah.
I'll have thoughts in a second. I just need to... Arms are killing me.
I had to stop like halfway up and hold on to the fence.
I heard you like make a grunt. All right, so I took it. I don't feel great about it. He dropped his chain.
So what makes this interesting is that we're roughly the same weight. We're both 160 pounds.
Yeah.
And the weight difference between the bikes is about 20 pounds, a little bit less than 10 kilos.
Yeah.
So looking at watts per kilogram, watts per kilo, I've got to do 10 kilos worth of watts to be able to hold your wheel.
And on steep stuff like this, that's what it comes down to. It's not aerodynamics, it's not rolling resistance, it just comes down to watts per kilogram. And I think what we demonstrated today is like, okay, although I won, I think most of it had to do with the drop chain, it's the athlete. Like, Jackson's probably gonna KOM this in a couple of minutes when he tries it on his bike. It comes down to the athlete. He nearly beat me, probably could have beat me on the $300 bike compared to my $6,000 bike. So get out there and ride. I mean, if you have a $350 budget, this is a great place to start. And by the way, if you're on this bike and then you hop on a bike like this, it's gonna feel like you said, taking the donut off your bat, and you're gonna feel like $1 million.
I'd be a little scared going down this hill on this bike.
Jackson, great having you on.
Thanks for having me.
As always, guys, catch you in the next one. Come on! Yes! Attaboy!
Oh, yeah.